In this lesson, you will establish the groundwork for your Power BI expertise by learning how to install the software and access Power BI services through your company, institutional, organizational accounts. You will also explore the essential building blocks of Power BI, setting the stage for creating impactful data visualizations and in-depth analysis while simultaneously developing your proficiency in the software. As you navigate the Power BI interface, you will enhance your ability to work efficiently with your data and reports. Moreover, you'll begin your journey by crafting your inaugural Power BI reports. Interestingly, this will give you hands-on experience with its components before we venture further. So the building blocks of Power BI. So the building blocks of Power BI are basically 5 components, and the first is the data set. The data set in Power BI are the foundation of your visualization. So remember, data, data, data. You can't make a bricks without clay. So you can't visualize a data. You can't visualize a data without a data. You can't make an informed decision without data. You can't perform any analysis without data. So the data is the foundation of visualization. So you can see how the importance of the basic concepts we try to understand in the past, how they'll start to play into understanding the components and then even the analysis itself. So the data, housing the data that gives life to insights. So the data sets, that's what is called data set. Housing the data that gives life to insights. So now the next block or the component is the reports. So the reports, Power BI reports composed of diverse visualizations and multiple pages. Just the same way as you have a sheet in an Excel and you can have multiple sheets, worksheets in a workbook in your Excel. So the same way you have your reports could have multiple pages compiled and they could be related to a particular data, or there could be multiple data brings together in order to deliver a comprehensive data driven narratives. Next is the visualizations. These are dynamic representations of data within Power BI, comprising a vast range of chart types and maps for effective data communication. So when we come to the visualizations, we're going to learn more, the lesson on visualizations, we're going to learn more on the chart types and when and how to use each one of these. So next is the tiles. In Power BI, tiles are individual visuals on the dashboard. So the tiles makes up the dashboard. So these tiles makes up the dashboard, each house in its own rectangular box delivering specific data insights. While the Power BI dashboards are condensed presentations of key visuals like cars, dashboard, giving quick and insightful views of your data, facilitating your interaction with linked reports. And the importance of these dashboards is you can share it for collaboration, or you could just share it as a form of feedback for your stakeholders or your managers to act upon the results of your analysis. So next here, we're going to navigate the Power BI interface. So having extensive experience with a variety of visualization tools, in my own opinion, right, Power BI ranks as one of the top tools for business intelligence. So as you delve into this course, you will not only navigate the Power BI interface, but also you will master it, equipping yourself to create compelling data visualization that drive informed decision making, right? So this is the first thing you will notice when you open a Power BI desktop is that there's get data almost everywhere. So as you can see here, there's get data here, there's get data here, you have get data here. You also want to put on file, you could still see get data here. If you should expand this data type here, you still get data. So get data simply because without data, you can't analyze. Data, data, data. Without data, you can't analyze in Power BI, right? So, and then once you launch your Power BI, you'd see it's already give you a quick start here. If you have any recent sources that you've already connected to, or maybe you've imported some Excel sheet in the past, they all appear here instantly. And you can even open, this is also another form of get data. You can just click on open other reports and you could open, it takes you to different sources, and you also come here. So the next you will notice is the ribbon at the top, similar to Excel. These are all the ribbon and they're all categorized into groups. So Next is the panes at the right. So the panes here, we have the data panes. That's where you're going to see your data in terms of tables or data frames. You see the data, and then this is the visualization, the chart type. You can see you have different chart types, and when you click this dots here, you could get more data types. That's only if you sign into data. You sign in into Power BI. That means you have the Power BI service. So usually when you sign in to Power BI services, you see here more Metafik, it means I'm signed into the Power BI services. So if I'd create any visualizations and all of that, I will have been able to publish. But I just opened this in order to show you this. We're going to see more of that when we log in into the data. So at the left pane here, you will see the three important things about Power BI desktop. So this Power BI desktop is the report view, the table view, and the model view. If you log into the Power BI services, you could do most of the things here, but you will not see this model view here because you only do data modeling in Power BI desktop, which we've already covered in the previous lesson, lesson 1. So if you just joining now, you could refer to the lesson 1. It's recorded and you can find it on the LMS. So next is the beauty of this is you could, when you're done with your report, you could just switch to desktop and mobile layout and see how it works. So as you progress, you familiarize yourself with the interface and how to use. Now, let's quickly create a couple of visuals. We'll use the tip-top taste restaurant, the tip-top taste restaurant datasets, and an imaginary restaurant with branches all over the world. So as a rookie analyst, you're asked to visualize the data sets for one of its locations in Nigeria and answer some questions. So let's dive right in. This is what you're going to see for the first time when you launch your Power BI desktop. And from here, you can just start getting your data into Power BI and start working. Remember, data. You can't analyze or visualize anything without the data. So that is why in Power BI desktop, you have get data almost everywhere. Like from the screen alone, there are more than 5 ways for you to import your data. So now from this quick launcher here, you could just click on this place here to get in data into Power BI desktop. Or better still, you could just pick from any recent sources of data you connected to. As you can see here, we have some data we've already connected to in the past for the rookie analyst course, cohort 1. And then at the same time, you could just open other reports from here. But we are not interested in this, so you just close this. So when you close this, then you have the real Power BI interface. So what you see here now, it's called the Power BI canvas. So this is a blank canvas. There's nothing here, no data, no visualizations, nothing. This is just a blank data, and you can see your title of your report is untitled. So when you're done, you have to save it. So it's usually, I will advise you create a folder, and then for Power BI, maybe you call it Rookie PBI or the Rookie Analyst Power BI or whatever you want to name it as. Just something that you'll be able to recall that it is for the lesson you attended here, and then you have a place, a folder for everything. So first thing first, you can see here there's also get data from another source. You could just, if you have a data from Excel, you could just import it straight away from here. So there are many ways for you to get data. So and you can also get your data from here. So now, but before we start getting into data, you can see this is the view that we mentioned earlier, the report view, and then is the table view, and then this is the model view. So in the model view, that's where you do your modeling and you build your relationship, usually when you have more than one data source. While this table is where you get to view the tables in your data. We don't have any data now, we can't see anything. So remember this pane here we mentioned, these are the 3 magical panes you're going to have in Power BI where you do 1 or 2 things, right? And especially when it comes to visualizations. So when you expand this here, you see data, you haven't loaded any data yet, and it's still telling you that what? Get data. So all this is emphasizing the fact that it is very important for you to have data. We can make any bricks without clay, right? We are sculptures in this case, right? But we are just analytics sculpture guys. So yeah, here we have the visualization pane here where you could just different kind of charts. You have the stacked bar chart, column chart. Subsequently, we'll get to explore this more, but we just want to just do 1 or 2 visualizations in order for you to see the power of
Power BI, what you could do with Power BI, and also to make you have confidence in Power BI, so that when we start diving further, you'll be able to have the confidence to play around with Power BI. So let's get our data, our TikTok Taste Restaurant data into this place here. So we could just come here now, and then we click on our data, and then we click here. We just want to visualize in order to answer our question as the rookie analyst, right? So you just load this straight away. So I'm just gonna come into desktop straight up, and then we have the data analyst course. So once you click on the get data, you navigate to once you click on get data, you navigate to where your data is. So as you can see here, we already have our data sources here. This is the data we're looking for, and this data we want to connect with is the Rookie Analyst TikTok Taste Restaurant one, which has already been uploaded to the LMS. So we click on open. So once you try to get data into Power BI, the first thing you're going to see is a Power Query Editor, which allows you to transform your data or to clean your data. So here, imagine you have multiple sheets in your data here. You have all of it lined up. So you need to select the one but in this particular workbook, we only have one worksheet. So you can see this is just a preview of your data. So you just preview this data here. So assuming you want to clean up this data, like these are null values that we may want to clean up in a real sense here, and we'll have to click on the transform data. But we'll come to this in subsequent class. So where this is loaded, just a couple of seconds because it's not a large data. If the data is very large, it may take longer time. So it's loading data into the model, and then you can see. So in the next few seconds, this should be done, simply because we don't have large data. So while this is loading, you could see we have our ribbons here. So now you see the black canvas telling you get data, and all of that is no longer there. So now this is telling you that build visuals with your data. And then it's already giving it select or drag fields from the data pane onto the report canvas. So here is your report canvas. This is where all your visualizations appear, right? So you can see now here that you have no data, get data is now showing TikTok Taste Restaurant. So when you click on this, you expand this, it shows you all the tables that you have in the data, all the columns that you have in the data and everything. And then by the time you come here now, the table view, you're definitely going to see something here. But initially you not see anything. So here you can have a full bird eye view of the data itself as it is, right? But now we just want here. So, but when you notice here, Power BI has this IntelliSense feature that when you're importing the data into Power BI, it's already kind of determine the kind of data that you have. So for instance, now this price here, it's individual price, but it's already summed it up for you. But you can change that if you don't want to work with that. So you need to understand the nature or the structure in which the data you import into Power BI is appearing. So that's a pro tip, because sometimes you may be working with data and then the data actually is a text string and then it's appearing as something else. And then you'll be finding it difficult to do some visualizations with it. So imagine you want to have this as a unit price. You definitely have to change this to a unit price, or you in your visualization you change it to unit price. We'll get to see how to do this in the future lessons. So we just want to do a quick visualization to answer the questions. So first and foremost, let's insert a text box, so that we're just going to paste the question in the handout, which is the practice question 1 to 5. So we'll solve question 1 and 2 here. Then I will leave the question 3 for you to practice with. And then also I'll upload whatsoever we built here. I'm going to upload it into the LMS. You can as well download this and then add the remaining 3 to it, or you start building yours afresh. The ball is in your court. You can just dunk it as much as you want to practice. So now let's just insert a text box. Once you click text box, now you can see. So you can start typing straight away. And here we'll just have our questions, right? So we'll just type the questions here, and then I copied it and I'll just paste it here. So we already have our questions here. You can see. So then we could just make all to have the same font, maybe 10 for instance, and everything should be uniform now, right? So we have this here, Arial, and then we have this maybe 14. No, let's make it 10, right? So now we have our question here. So these are our questions. So we just drag it. Yeah, so question 1 to 3. So we take this out, So now here in your text, usually use your text here to type in terms of titling. You want to write the title of your dashboard and all of those things. You just come to insert text and you do just the same thing I did here. And in Power BI, when you select this is more or less like a text style. You could just drag this now anyhow as much as you like. If you want it to appear here or you want it to appear wherever. So we just want it here, so we're going to leave it here. So the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to insert maybe an image. That's the Rookie Analyst logo, for instance. So we just come over to the Rookie Analyst course again and then pick the logo. So we should have our logo somewhere around here. Okay, so we have our logo here. So this has also been uploaded. This will also be uploaded. So we could just put our logo here, for instance, and then we could reduce this if we so much like to make it uniform. Yeah, you could see. So we have our logo here. So next we could just add another text here and then a text box here. We drag the text box here and then we name the text box. So you could just do as much as you like with this. We could increase the font size to make it bigger, and then we could bold it. If we like, we could put a color to it, and then we could just drag it and then we'll work on the alignment here. Remember, center. If you want it justified, you want it like this, either way. So right, no, but we just centralize this. Insert a link and all of that. So let's say we want to insert a link now, and then we'll just come here and we'll put www.TheRookieAnalyst.com, right? So we just want to link this, you highlight this, and then we'll click link, and then in the link here, link. You could just link this here, and then done, right? So could just do this, or you could just change the color as much as you like. So maybe I could just leave it as black. Blue is not looking sharp enough. Maybe this. So we have our questions, our logo, and as well as a title of our report. So we want to see how we can visualize the data in order to answer the questions that we have. So remember, you are the rookie analyst for the Tip Top Taste restaurant, and these are the questions from your country manager. So, and then for you to analyze this data, which is from one of its locations in Nigeria, Kaduna to be specific. So now, the first thing I usually do when I'm analyzing any data is that even when I know what to do, I usually just have, especially in Power BI, and you want to visualize, just have a table and then just look at the kind of the data and all of those things in table. And from table, then you can even convert to charts. So that's how I get to start with, except when I'm already super sure of what I want to do, then I could just come here and then when you look at this place here, build your visuals. So you select the kind of chart you want. You have the stack bar chart, different types of charts. You could even insert a map. And then if you signed in, you could get more visuals. But if you're using the free version, you won't have this. So yeah, another thing I mentioned earlier is that we are currently in the insert tab here. You can see. So you could come to the home tab here, and then on the home tab you see publish. This is where you publish to Power BI services. But if you're not signed in, you won't be able to see this publish but I'm signed in here. That's why Mohammed Taufik is signed in. So that means I'm signed into the Power BI services. So that means if I'm done with this and I publish it to Power BI service, I can log into Power BI service anywhere, even with my phone, and then see what I have, and then I can even be able to do one or two things, right? You understand, or with my tabs, so without necessarily having to come back to Power BI desktop. And remember, the difference between Power BI desktop and Power BI services is this: the data modeling and also the collaboration and all of that. So now let's just go straight. So now we want to answer the question. So when you look at the question, which location has the highest customers? So from this question now, you have to kind of relate the question to the available data that you have. So you look at this, the information you need to answer this question, do you have them in this table? The answer is definitely yes. Assuming the answer is no, then you need more data, and that's when you get external more data, and then that's when you could have 2 or 3 data, and then you have to consolidate them up, and that's when you have to start writing some DAX functions and even do some modeling to build relationship. Question is, which location has the highest customer? So you have to first try to connect with the data. Do you have the data or do you have the data that will answer the question? Yes. So what do you need? You need the location, right? Is there anything carrying location here? Yes, customer location. Next, you need the highest customers. So you want to know the highest customers, then you definitely need the customer name. Those are the two things you need. So normally there are two ways to just start. Once you just select maybe customer location now, it automatically brings it up for you as a table once you select it. Power BI brings it up for you as a table. You can expand this as much as you like. But assuming I want it here, you can as well click here and then select your table. And then you now select the customer location. It's still the same thing. And when you want to remove this, just click on these three dots and then you remove this. We're going to learn more about doing all of this in the future. So now this, we already have our location here, right? So once you have our location here, the next thing we want to see is the customer name. We have our customer name here, but this is telling you that which location has the highest customer. So that means we want one count of the customers, you see, not the customer name itself. So since we want the count of the customer, here we have a customer without a name, right? But it's still a customer, so we need this data, right? We still need this data. That's why the customer does not name, but it's still a customer, right? So it's possible that it could be any one of these, or it could be a new customer. So that's why you need more information as regard this. And if it doesn't need the data, you can just take it off, and that's the function of cleaning your data, and that's what we're going to do in Power Query in the next module. But here now, it's a customer that comes in. It could be that the customer doesn't have a name, or it's ordered anyway. So it's definitely a customer. So we need this to answer the question. So we're not going to take this out at all. So now the next thing is, from here you are a step away from getting the answer right. So the next thing is just for you to change these customer names to count. So that's the easiest way. But as well, you could do some calculations or some functions, and then you could just to sum up the name of the customer. But the easiest way now, just for you to have confidence with this, is just come over here. You can see in columns here, this is where it's showing you whatever you select here appears here in the columns, and whatever appears here is what you see in the table. Now let's add day to it. You can see this has increased, and once you add other date to it, it also increases. So if you untick this, it goes. So we just have these two that we needed to answer the question. So the next thing is just to come over here, customer name, and then select customer name. You can see it's telling you don't summarize. Here you have just some few things, and the good thing about Power BI is most of the things that the possible little things that you're going to do, it already have it for you. You just need to click, 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 and then you have your answers. It's just when you want to do some advanced or some sophisticated things, then you need to write functions or formulas to get that on in form of DAX queries. So next, you just put this to count, and once you put this to count here, it's already counted for you. So the question is, which location has the highest customer? So you can see here you have 10, 9, 6. Instead of you checking, you could just sort this, and the best way to sort this, just click this, and once you just click this, you can see it sorts ascending order, and you click this, it sorts descending order. You can see the arrow here. It's just super easy. So when you sort descending order, it's more easier for whoever is going to see this. So you can see we have this here. So which customer has the highest order? It just easy. This can be seen. But now, just two columns and data, having a table for it is not bad. You could customize this table as much to rename this, add a title to this by coming over here. You know, this is where you add data to your visual. The next thing here you have is format your visual. This is where you add titles, you put totals, you add image, you do anything you want to do. Title here is off. Once I on this on now, and then you'll be able to add title, and you can see it's giving you customer, right. So you could just come here and add your title to it. But let's just do something first. So here we just want to convert this. We want it to be in a form of bar chart now, for instance. So you come back to build visuals, and this is a stack bar chart, and once you click stack bar chart, it automatically changes it for you into a bar chart easily. So you notice here that when you change it to a bar chart, you're having your customers on y-axis, and then the x-axis is the count of customer names. So as usually, it's best for you to have the dependable your dependable data at the y-axis, at the x-axis, while the independable one on the y-axis. So usually the measurable ones here, while the non-measurables on the other side. So now we'll still look into this further. So now we have a bar chart here to answer this question here, and from here you could see you could see exactly the location. But let's try to customize this, just slight customization. Just come over here, come to general here, and then we'll come to title. We on our title, and then we type it, and then we'll put let's look for a befitting title. We'll now put customers, okay, location, or let's put this the branches with the highest order. So we can see this. So this, you can also bold it, and then you could align it to the center if you like. If you don't want it bold, you can even change the color. If you don't want it black, you could just put any color you like, right? Branches with the highest order, something like this. So let's just leave this at this one now. There are still many other customizations you could do here in terms of the grid lines. If you don't like it vertical, you can just remove the grid lines, right? And then we have this here. So the grid lines is gone. You can as well rename all of this. And then here you just have instead of count of customer name, you just put a number of orders, right? So you could just come here now and then just do something like this, and then rename for this visual, and then you put number of orders, number of orders, right? So, and then you just come here next, and then you just do rename for this visual, and then you write it as customer, or you can just put location, or you can put branch location. Yep. And from this, once your manager says this, already answers your questions. And then you could add a small note here. You could just do some kind of small notes here, and then you could summarize it and all of that. Let's just leave this for now. So let's go to the next question. The next question is like 2-in-1. The next question is, how many customers bought rice from Cow branch, and what is the name of the customer with the highest order? So you can see here, we already have this is Cow branch here. And the beauty of this is when you over your mouse on top of a bar chart, it shows you it shows you the name of it shows you the tool. It's just like it's called tooltips, right? It shows you the informations about that particular data, right? It shows the information particular about that data, and then we could do a lot of things with this. We could make this to be connected to other things, and then you could use this to filter every other thing. Let's add another visual to answer this. So the next question is, how many customers bought rice from Cow? When you look at it now, customers that bought rice from Cow, what are the Cow branch? What are the informations that you need to answer this first question? You need informations like rice is under what? Food type. So we need food type. So let's just click this now. Food type in table, right? We have just 3 food types: beans, rice, salad. Next, it asks how many customers. So we need customer names as well, right? Now, the next thing is we bought rice from Cow. Yeah, those 2 suffice, but at the same time, you can see, and what is the name of the customer with the highest order? We also need this, but we'll do this somehow with another table or with another visual. We answer this separately. We're answering the first one now. How many customer bought rice? We also need the price, because how many customer bought rice? We also need the price as well. So let's put in the price as well, and then to see. And then the next thing we also need is this is the food type, the customer name, the sum of price, and then we need the location because it is Cow, right? So we'll put Cow here also. So this is this now. We have this. So but you can see we have multiple. For instance, we have queen, and then we're going to have queen again. We have Benga, we have Benga again. Look at queen again here. So this is not distinct. So this is just customers and their prices per location. But want to know how many customers. So just the same thing as what we did here. We'll change this customer name again to. We'll change it to what? Count. Exactly. So we'll change it to count, and then the customer name changed to. No, sorry, I changed the location, not the name. I'm supposed to change the name. So you could, the same thing you could undo here by just clicking on this arrow that points backward. Or as a rule of thumb with Microsoft product mostly, when you use Ctrl Z, the keyboard shortcut you already know in Excel that was uploaded to the LMS, it's applicable. Some of them are applicable here, like Control Z, Control C, Control V, and all of those things. And in most cases with Microsoft products, those things work, right? So we're supposed to do that for customer name. So this is customer name here and not customer location. So for the customer name here, we just come over here, and then from don't summarize, we change it to count. And once we change it to count, we already have this. It does the counting for us in terms of the food type, as you can see. So now we want to just know for rice. You can see this is food type. We want to know for rice how many customers orders rice. So the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to apply what is called a filter to this, because we're only interested in customers that bought rice. So we're going to add a filter to this. So the filter we're going to add to this, you come over here already on the filters. You can see here it's already have the customer name, location, food type, and the sum of the price. So what you want to add filter is you want to filter for just rice alone. If it is in Excel, you could just use Control Shift L, and then you just drop down arrow comes up, and then you click it, you select rice, and then it shows you everything right. So similarly, you can do the same thing here. So just come over to your food type here. You can see here it says food type is all. All you just need to do is just select this drop down and change it to just rice, and we select just rice, and then we have just rice here. And then it tells you, the question is how many customer brought rice from cow. So you can see we have many we have all of this here, this the location here. So another thing here is you could just sort by this, by clicking here. So you could just sort and then in descending order at the same time. So we have here, from here we have in total we have 27 customers, and out of those 27 customers, only 4 customers bought rice from cow. This answers the question. But there's something else you could do here. You could as well just be specific and then just show only that of the cow. You could be specific and just show for cow alone, right? Just come over to the filters on this visual. You see not for food type now. You go for the one for customer location, and then you select cow, and it shows just this alone. But let us leave it as a table here because this already answered the question. This is cow, and then you could put a net. You could put a note. You could put a note here, and the same time you could just come over here and then add a title to this as usual. We're gonna turn it on, and then we'll come over here and then we'll type, and then this is going to be sales, or we could just name this rice sales in cow branch. Now another pro tips is whenever you formatting in visualization, you have to make sure you make it consistent. Meaning, if you want to apply color, you want to bold, you want to use font style, you just have to make sure that they're the same, right? So we'll just do this here. And as well, you could rename all of this, and then you could rename this back this to remove the iPhones or anyhow much more you like it. But let's leave this. It answers the questions already. So this is the visual. So the next question, which is the last one, is what's the name of the customer with the highest orders? So what do we need here? We still need, do we have the information to answer this question here? Click on this blank canvas, as you said, black canvas, click on it. Then you see, do we have the information that we need here? Yes or no? Yeah, so we have the information. So, and what are those informations? We only need 2 informations, which is the name of the customer, which is customer name, and then the highest orders, which is what? The price. The price, because the price is what we use to know the highest orders. Because so now let's just do another table here. You could insert, click on table here, or just click on black canvas and select what you need here. We need the price, and then we need the customer name. So it's already putting up for you here as a bar chart if you want here, but this is not what we want, right? So let's just put it as a table so that we'll see it clearly. So we want to see the customer. This is customer name, and then let's just change this customer name now. We'll change it to what? Count, right? Because we want to know the number of customers with the highest order. So this is customer. Then this here, instead of this sum price, we could just change it up and then just put it as don't summarize, and then we have this. So, but we want to know the name of the customer, so we don't need to change this to count. So let's bring it back to don't summarize. So we have this. Then we have to bring the price back to sum. You get it now. So just playing around for you to just see how much you may have the right information to answer a particular question, but you're handling it in a different way, and you're definitely not going to get your right answer. So here we have exactly what we need. So the question is the customer with what? The highest orders. So we already have this sorted out in descending order. So the customer with the highest order is what? Idris. So to do this here, next we could do here is just change this to bar chart. I like bar chart a lot. So you could just do whatever you like with yours, right? So we just do this here. And then another thing we could do is we could reduce the sizes of things here. If you want it to look bigger, and then you could just adjust the formatting as much as you like. You could bring this down, and then you put this here. So when you want to add more visuals to it, you have to bring it down a bit. You have to adjust for it to look fitting, to fit in. So we could just bring this down here, and then we could bring this here. Then we could do this like this. And then we could just make this bigger if we like. For me here, I could just make this bigger for you to see. So I could just make this bigger. So when you want to work on your own, you make this smaller. So we are going to stop here, and then the remaining 3 questions, I'm going to leave it to you. And at the same time, we just have to add title to this. We could do a lot of other visualization, but remember, this is just to show you what you can do with Power BI in terms of visualization, and also to just give you the confidence for us to understand what we explained earlier in terms of navigating the Power BI interface. So what we just did here is just navigating it and then creating our first inaugural report. So what you have here is report in one page. We could just click this and then click and see how it appears. So now the mobile layout. Once you click this, it takes you to the mobile layout. And in the mobile layout here, you just have to, we're going to see how we could work on the mobile layout, is you create your own mobile layout, how you want it to appear in the mobile and the arrangement. And the beauty of this is it does not even affect how it appears on the desktop. This is a new feature that was being added this year, I think. Yeah, earlier this year. So now let's just come back to our desktop layout, and then we could just expand this, and then you could change the colors of your bar chart and what have you. You could do as much as you like with it in terms of customizations to make it more beautiful. So we could just add a quick let's just add a quick title to this also, and then we'll call this from the question is the name of the customer with the highest orders. So we'll just put it customer orders in Kaduna location. Just something like this. Feel free to just think of what you think will make sense more. And then here you just come over here, you do the alignment again, you change the text color. You could use any color, put the bold, you can use different fonts, customize it as much as you like.
So that's it. You can see the beautiful visualizations, even though there was no much customizations that was done. That's just to show you how you can easily navigate, just for you to understand or familiarize yourself with the components of the Power BI. So see it as more of navigating the Power BI interface. So now the do now, which is a practical exercise. So here we expect you to do your inaugural report here. So this is a practical exercise for you. And the instruction is for you to just use the techniques we've learned in the model one to visualize the same data set that was demonstrated in this same lesson. And then as the rookie analyst for TikTok Taste Restaurant, you are asked by the country manager to create visuals for the Kaduna branch. Yeah, that's a branch in Nigeria, and your visuals should answer the following questions that's here. So feel free to check the next slides for the hints that will make you to arrive at your answers. Yeah, the solutions. Congratulations, you did it. Now it's time for you to take your weekly graded quiz, and we believe you've already practiced with the practice data set, and also join the live sessions on Saturday 21st to answer any questions and for us to have a quick recap of what was learned during this week. And that'll be all for this module, for this lesson and this module. Yeah. See you in the next model.